Level 3 autism is the most severe form of autism within the autism spectrum. This level used to be called severe autism. It was renamed Autism Level 3 in the year of 2013 when the new edition of the DSM, the DSM-5, came out. The DSM means Diagnostical and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So, I'll just give you a brief overview of the levels of autism before continuing with Level 3. The autism spectrum has 3 levels. Level 1, mild autism, previously called Asperger's. Level 2, moderate autism. In the past, some people now diagnosed with Level 2 may have been previously diagnosed with Asperger's or with autism. It really depends on the symptoms. And then Level 3 severe. So, what does all this mean? Well, the levels 1, 2, or 3 are levels of support needs required. Level 1 means requiring support. Level 2, requiring substantial support. And Level 3 requiring very substantial support. For example, if you need lots of support in various categories and in various environments, or if you require lots of support to function on a day-to-day basis, you would be diagnosed with Autism Level 3. The categories that they look at are communication, socialization, repetitive and restricted behaviors. The environments are home, school, and out in the community. They want to see how you do in various environments, with the categories of communication, socialization, and repetitive and restricted behaviors. If you need some support, but can function well on your own, again they evaluate the same categories, then you would be mildly autistic, or now known as Level 1 autism, previously called Asperger's. If you are anywhere in between, related to your support needs, in these categories, you would be diagnosed with Level 2 autism. Okay, a quick example to differentiate the levels. So, let's look at the social communication category. If you speak verbally and have normal conversations, but may need help to understand expressions or jokes, for example, and if you can socialize without help or without prompting, but you struggle to make friends, and your interactions with peers may be odd or unsuccessful, and you may need help and support with social cues. Even though you may mask your difficulties with these interactions, you may get identified as Level 1 autism. For Level 2 autism, you may need more support, or prompting to initiate a conversation, or to socialize. Or you may speak with echolalia, or in ways that other people may find odd, or difficult to understand, but you can still use verbal speech, or learn to use it, to a certain degree to communicate. And then for Level 3 autism, most of these kids either are fully nonverbal, or have non-conversational speech. So, a communication device may be needed, or other alternative communication methods. And with Level 3, You may not initiate conversations or socialization by yourself. You may need support or prompting to socialize and communicate. Here's an example. It's better if people come to me and start talking to me, because I may not go towards people, or it's rare. With level 3 autism, you may not communicate in obvious ways to others, outside of wants and needs. For example, you may communicate in your own language, even though people don't understand, and only use your device if you really need to, like to request food, or a break. Now, this doesn't mean that you never communicate outside of wants and needs, and that you cannot have normal random conversations with your device. I mean, look at all my videos. I'm not prompted to do them, but it's harder for me to socialize and communicate in person. I often do not. My mom is learning lots of things about me with these videos that she never would have known before. Imagine getting to know your child, who you've raised for 31 years, through YouTube videos. Okay, so, what is level 3 autism, according to the new Diagnostical Terms and Conditions, from the DSM-5? Level 3 autism means requiring very substantial support. In other words, you need lots of help or support to manage daily tasks or daily living. They look at this in 3 categories and in different environments. The categories are severe impairment with social communication, extreme inflexibility and repetitive behaviors, and very substantial support needs. The environments that they look at, to see how these categories affect you, in those environments, are home, school, and out in the community. Let's look at each categories individually. First, social communication difficulties. For level 3 autism, you must have unusual speech patterns, echolalia, very few words, non-conversational speech, or be fully nonverbal. Or you may have another condition that came in the mix that affects speech, language and communication. For example, speech apraxia, expressive receptive language disorder, and more. Often, with autism, especially severe autism, you are not dealing with only one thing, but with a bunch of things that all come together. And these things can vary from person to person. This doesn't mean that you cannot communicate in other ways, such as with an iPad or little pictures, but you usually can't use verbal speech for decent communication. Some kids with level 3 autism speak, but they may be hard for others to understand, or what they say may be seen as making no sense. Others are fully nonverbal. Often with level 3 autism you may not communicate outside of wants and needs. With level 3 autism, you can have limited verbal and nonverbal communication, difficulties with initiating conversations or social interaction, and struggle with socialization, to the point of being incapable of engaging in social interaction, such as playing with other kids. Of course, all of this doesn't mean that those diagnosed with level 3 cannot socialize or hang out with friends, but the social interactions may be odd, rare, unusual and restricted, or the socialization may need to be guided or assisted. Second, extreme inflexibility and repetitive behaviors. This is when you struggle with transitions, changes in routine, difficulties with unpredictable situations and events. This category also looks at the amount of repetitive behaviors that someone has, such as stimming, and restricted interests, or obsessions, that can interfere with day-to-day life. For example, I usually don't go anywhere, because being away from my cat Emily is too difficult, and stresses me out. I follow Emily nearly everywhere. So, this would affect daily living because I will refuse to do certain things, or go certain places, because I want to be right beside Emily. This category also includes extreme, or intense fixations, with specific objects or activities. You may want to do the same things all the time. In my case, being with Emily, who's not an object but a cat, but it comes to the same thing. Well, Emily is a lucky cat, to have an owner who's obsessed with spending time with her. Third, very substantial support needs. This is the amount of support that someone needs to get by, or get things done, or the care and assistance that someone needs. It can include a need for assistance, or professional assistance for daily living, self-care, life skills, social and communication skills, work skills, and assistance in the community. Okay, so that's a lot of information, but how does this all affect me personally? That's what we will look at next. When I was still in primary school, I was diagnosed with severe autism, under the old terms and conditions of the DSM-4. Just a few years ago, when I was 28 years old, I got re-evaluated and re-diagnosed with autism level 3, under the new terms and conditions of the DSM-5. But, in my opinion, it comes back to the same thing. It's still the same level of autism, just a new name. Let's look at the DSM-5 again. For the social communication category, it says, severe deficits in verbal and nonverbal social communication skills cause severe impairments in functioning, very limited initiation of social interactions, and minimal response to social overtures from others. For example, a person with few words of intelligible speech, who rarely initiates interaction, and when he or she does, makes unusual approaches to meet needs only and responds to only very direct social approaches. That really describes me. So, I may come see my mom only when I'm hungry, and do the sign for food, or eat. At church, I may not communicate, except if I need to do the sign for toilet, or cat if I'm ready to go home. So, I rarely initiate communication, conversations or social interactions. After Mass, I'm often asked if I want to say bye to the priest, or I just get told to go say bye to him. So, for me, support needs in the area of social communication is to get told or prompted to communicate. You can tell me to get my device out, or my communication binder, and you can tell me to use it, or you can prompt me to socialize, like in the example of needing to be told to go say bye to the priest. I will rarely, almost never get my communication stuff out of my backpack, so I usually just don't communicate. An area of support need would be to tell me to go get my communication stuff out, or to just go get it yourself and bring it to me. So, I do need lots of support in the category of social communication. Another thing is that it's better for people to come see me, instead of expecting or waiting for me to come to you. For example, when the life skills worker comes, she just walks in, don't knock, or ring the bell, and she just comes upstairs to see me, and starts talking to me right away. And that's very helpful. Okay, now, let's look at the category on restricted, repetitive behaviors. It says, inflexibility of behaviors, extreme difficulty coping with change, or other restricted repetitive behaviors markedly interfere with functioning in all spheres. Great distress, difficulty changing focus or action. Again, it describes me perfectly. Okay, so, difficulty coping with change, that's totally like me. In primary school, just a change of poster on the wall, or decoration, or new desk layout, could stress me out, and lead me to kind of shut down. Now, I'm going through stressful times, because we had water leaking, renovations are happening, and going to live at grandma's was mentioned, which stressed me out. I didn't want to go, I wanted to go camping instead. So, my mom found a motel in the country, that we'll probably need to stay at, for a few days and nights. This is better, but still stressful. What kind of support I'd need for this? To be told in advance of changes happening, and getting help through it, to manage emotions. I still would prefer camping, to be fully alone, in the woods, no one, no neighbors, but we can't camp with senior cats, at this time of the year. It's too cold in our region. Cats need warmth, and nice sunny warm days. Repetitive behaviors, that interfere with functioning, yes, I have that too. I get stuck in pacing, so walking back and forth, and I get overtaken by these behaviors, that I may struggle to get ready for bed, or may be delayed in brushing my teeth, or I may struggle to go on with what I need to do, because I can't stop walking around, or back and forth. What kind of support I'd need for this? Well, either just let me be, and I may be very slow to get things done, or redirect the behaviors towards what I need to do. Once my tasks are done, I could just continue my pacing loops. And then it talks about difficulty changing focus or action. Yes, changing of action, or transition is hard for me. For example, at church, when they sing the Holy, 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 it's called the Sanctus in Latin, I need to start to get myself ready for movement, because right after this song, we kneel down. So, transitions of movements are hard on me, in my head. My body works well, but it's everything going on in my head, and anxiety, that affects how my body does, such as difficulties with movement transition. What kind of support I'd need for this? It really depends on the situation. During the Holy, or Sanctus song, I have time to get ready for movement. No help is needed here. But another time, if I need to move suddenly, it could be hard. So, support needs would be, let me know of a transition movement needed, ahead of time, give me time to get ready to move, and help me, guide me throughout my transitions. I was saying a little while ago, in this video, that I rarely get my communication stuff out of my backpack. To get it out is a form of transition. I would need to move towards it, open my bag, get my stuff out, etc. I may not be able to do that, because I freeze so often, and it's hard to have movement transitions when I freeze, or partially freeze. Same for getting in and out of cars, or putting the seatbelt on or removing it. It's a transition that stresses me out so much, that I prefer walking. But there's places that are too far to walk. Well, one of my life skills worker had asked if it would be better if they would open and close the door for me, and if they would get my seatbelt on and off for me. I said yes. If they can do this, it would solve so many problems. So, here's a good example of another support need related to transitions. Here are other things that I need support with. Cooking, I can't cook, but I'm willing to learn a few things. Groceries, I don't go to the store. Meals prepared for when I'm alone, to be shown what I can eat when my mom is at work. Outings, need to be accompanied, or my hand held. Math, money, my mom manages all these things. My mom has power of attorney to sign papers, or take certain decisions for me, help with making certain decisions, guidance to communicate, socialize and manage emotions, help and support to reach my goals. I can clean and organize very well, but I may need help to learn how to clean certain things and what products to use. I need help to wash the bathtub, need to be re-shown how to use the washer and dryer every time that I move. Need to be re-shown how to turn on the water for the shower when I move, need to be re-shown how to use appliances when I move, or if we get new ones, microwave, hot plate, washer, dryer, etc. Need to be specifically taught or shown how to do things, or how to use objects and products, need to be re-shown previous mastered tasks or skills, if I need to apply these skills to new or different environments. My functioning levels can change and severity levels can be increased in different or new environments. I'm usually in my pajamas, unless if I go to church. I'd need a system in place, like when I was little, clothes prepared for the week. I may not brush my hair all day, I take showers by myself now, but that took longer for me to do than most kids. Although I'm really slow, and may not wash or rinse my hair properly all the time, but that's okay. I'm toilet trained, but may get confused with if I need to go or not. I have many of the same needs as little kids for security and protection. For example, I was refusing to go places with the 21-year-old life skills worker, because she's not a mom. Need people to be specific and speak slower, for me to follow and understand. Often need things to be explained in a simplified way, as you'd explain it to a child. Okay, so, as you can see, an intellectual deficiency is not a symptom of autism in itself, although it can happen for some people. But then it would need to be specified. Example, level 3 autism, with or without accompanying intellectual impairment. The DSM-5 really focuses symptoms of severe autism to be high support needs in areas of communication, socialization, and restricted and repetitive behaviors. And these areas can affect daily living and life skills. Although the DSM-5 doesn't mention it with these words directly. But it does say, restricted repetitive behaviors markedly interfere with functioning in all spheres. So, if you struggle with communication, socialization, and restricted repetitive behaviors, it does affect functioning, as you saw in this video when I was pacing, so delayed to brush my teeth. So, yes, I meet all the symptoms and diagnostical criterias for severe autism, now called level 3. So please, if you don't know much about autism, don't doubt someone's diagnosis. Just because this person appears to be smart, or just because this person doesn't look to you like what you think severe autism should look like.